as opposed to having someone come back again to do those kind of things. With the newer technologies you have with things like Windows 7, some of the things with the virtual workstation capabilities and virtual desktops, we can do a lot more things remotely that you don't have to have folks come out to your place to do that. Some things do require people to be there. If I've got to maintain a remote video surveillance system, I've got to be able to go out to a tower and fix the problem. Those things can't go away from those kind of things. So we're trying to automate the things, consolidate the help desk together, leverage the resources we have, provide more automated mechanisms to let users know what's going on, and provide capabilities for them actually to go on. If a lot of times you're missing an application or a problem, you can still go on and do an online remedies ticket, do it yourself rather than have to call in or do the activity, and check the status yourself. Those are the kind of things we're trying to do so we can automate the process a lot more, take out the manual steps, give you the capability for doing those kind of things. Manual reset of your passwords, for example. I mean, banks do it. So we're in the process of doing that now, so you can actually have your 5 secret questions, and you answer your questions. You can reset it yourself instead of having to get a supervisor to go with you and take an hour to reset your password. It's not a good practice. Those are the kind of things in terms of that help desk changes we're doing.
Yeah, terrific. Tom, isn't another approach you just hire the good contractors?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, guys, I had to get that one in his insourcing days, I mean.
I agree with a lot what Ken said. I mean, you got to take advantage of technology to automate as much as you can so you can push patches down and other support mechanisms. I think we're following on your comment to going full circle. I think we're going full circle because, we're thinking about, everyone's starting thinking about going back to the old dumb terminals again. So, we're seriously looking at desktop virtualization because desktops are very expensive, not the acquisition, but the maintenance of them, pushing patches, patch Tuesdays every week, and we're patching all the time. You have to worry about PII, you got the things encrypted. So it's a big drain on resources and supportability. So really starting to look at desktop virtualization where everything's centrally controlled. You download the apps you need. You work on the data centrally, you turn off that desktop, and there's nothing sitting there, and everything's been
I
down.
actually
So
think diskless
we think
PCs and so-called dumb terminals,
Right.
I mean, back in the day of the dumb terminal, memory cost a lot.
Yeah.
Now, memory is so inexpensive that you can run everything right out of memory, and you don't need to have the data on the machine.
It doesn't apply to every application, every agency, but I think that it has a niche in organizations.
I think you're right. You make some very good, very valid points there, Paul.
I agree with everything that's been said. I'll give you one example of the help desk and how critical that becomes. We started this consolidation effort, and one of the agencies in New York that was most resistant was the New York Police Department. I always like to say that, when the person on the other side of the table's got a gun, they're going to be a little more, you deal with them a little differently. But anyhow, what we did do is got them to agree that we could consolidate the help desks, and that would really save them some money. And so essentially they had a help desk of, let's say, 24 people. We only needed 12 new heads to support them, and then we basically gave them back the 12 heads. So that's how it became a winner for them, that they were able to basically take those other people and turn them into application developers or whatever they were trying to do. So that's, I think, where if you come up with that kind of model, they can really encourage the agencies to work with you because it's a win-win in that situation. But to your point, you become much more dependent on a centralized support structure in terms of a help desk, and that it's probably going to force us into desktop consolidation for that reason as well.
Yeah, good points. All good points. And we're running out of time here. We didn't have a lot. We've got about 3 minutes. So I'm going to ask everybody for your 1 minute vision of where this is all going. What's it going to look like in the future? What are the kinds of things we should expect? Let's start. Tom, we'll just work our way down. What's the government agency infrastructure going to look like down the road here?
So I've got 13 data centers in the Washington, D.C. area. I hope in 3 years to be down to 1 or 2. I have 18 points of presence in the internet. I hope to be down to 2. I have 9 email systems. I hope to have a more robust email system, whether it's outsourced or in-house. We have to do that analysis. And I hope I have a unified infrastructure, whether it's 5 infrastructures, 4. The status quo, I think, we're going into this where the status quo just is not meeting the business requirements of the department and lots of other reasons. We have to look at a new model of change. So
cool.
That's where we're going.
Thank you.
Somewhere in there is a lot of golf and,
That's right. Okay.
What time's that tea time?
Ken, what's your vision of the future here?
I believe we're going to see continued consolidation of the infrastructure, more dense, high-powered racks, fewer sprawl on the capabilities. Major change is going to be the advancement of fourth generation wireless capabilities, move toward tablets and activities instead of the big laptops and activities, and for folks to be connected virtually anywhere all the time. You're going to see faster speed and capabilities to roll out new capabilities, moving away from the dedicated stovepipe systems, moving toward integration of services and exchanging services across the government agencies and across other areas where we can provide those kind of services. That, of course, requires a lot more capabilities in terms of identity management and multi-factor capabilities and increased security, which is a key to really enabling all those activities.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that identity management comes up all the time. Just about anything you're doing, if you can get that identity thing down, it makes a lot of things easier. Paul, what's your vision of where this is all going?
We're all going to be on Google Apps and have iPads.
Hey, maybe 10 years from now, that's not so far-fetched. When the kids are running the place.
Seriously, I think the future is going to be very much more moving in the direction of mobile wireless type technologies, and I just think we're going to, we're going to really, the capabilities of what's going to be coming in the fourth generation is going to be very powerful, and there's such an advantage to move away from that fixed infrastructure. So I see that as probably one of the major.
Yeah, that's a good point. We did have a question about wireless, but we ran out of time here because it is a major component and it is a major discussion point for this discussion. I just jotted a few notes down to wrap up here. I think we heard about cost pressures and getting money to do upfront infrastructure. It's inevitable that the government's going to be facing some cost pressures and being pushed to do infrastructure consolidation, reduce O&M costs, reduce a lot of the high cost inherent in older stuff now. I heard still a tendency towards more private clouds as opposed to public clouds, although we might see some of the non-critical or less than critical mission stuff experiment with some public clouds. I heard virtualization is the first step to any good consolidation program. I heard the technology is not the biggest issue, that there are a lot of other things that need to be dealt with. For the benefits, not only cost, but flexibility and the ability to change quickly and quickly implement business requirements. Security and privacy still loom large, that they have to be dealt with up front because they certainly are something that could pull it all apart if not dealt with correctly. And a lot of promise for 4G wireless and the proliferation of broadband and what that will do when we get speed out there in ubiquitous speed around the world. With that, I want to first thank my panelists, Tom and Ken and Paul, for taking time from their busy schedules, and of course thank the folks that put this thing on, and thank you for inviting me to moderate, and thanks to all of you for listening. And I'm told we're going to take like a 3 or 4 minute break here, not much more than that, because we want to get right to Cindy. All they got to do is switch around some things and get her presentation up, and we'll be right back with Cindy. So thanks a lot, everybody.